Everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that Ancient Religion Series Volume 1 is now available on paganism. Definitely take advantage and watch that video. And remember that lifetime membership to Merkabah Academy is different from lifetime digital downloads. It's totally different. So a lot of people was asking about the sale that was up last week. It's still available. A lot of people wanted me to, keep it up for a little bit longer. So it will be up until Monday. Definitely take advantage of that, especially the Never Pay Again sale, because only about 15-20 more people can take advantage of that before it's taken down. So definitely take advantage, as well as the digital downloads. I kept it up there at that price, so you can download all 71 or 72, I think it is, digital downloads at that price. Take advantage of that sale while it's still available. And books, of course, we're still shipping out books. I sent a bunch of confirmation tracking numbers out this weekend, and we'll be sending out more. As I said before, if you order the book, it's coming. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate it, but you definitely will get it. It's on the way. It's coming. Not trying to keep anybody's book or rob anybody or anything like that. A lot of emails from people. If you order the book is coming. I explained the whole situation and the process. I understand if some people don't have patience, but I've explained everything multiple times. As I said, if you order the book, you're definitely going to get it. So at least shoot me an email before you run to the white man at PayPal. A lot of people don't see every video. A lot of people didn't get the email that was sent out. But rest assured, if you order the book, it's coming. And I appreciate the patience and everything. It's been a process, but everybody will have their book pretty soon. Now, to get into this video and to really look at a couple of things that's been happening lately. Of course, I talked about the whole Kobe Bryant thing. A lot of you guys, wow, a lot of emails, a lot of questions about that whole thing. And a lot of people had no clue as to the connection of, Iran and the Persian Empire, as well as what's been happening with trade with America and China lately, and how it's been escalating, and how we've been seeing so much tension back and forth that's kind of sort of behind the scenes, but right in our face if you know what to look for. But I really want to get into something different, because this is going to be one of those things where we got to watch it. And they're trying to have this secret war with trade right in front of our face, but, keep it covered. So we got to be really, really on point about what they're talking about as far as trade and anything escalating towards any kind of war or anything like that. This whole, coronavirus and everything like that. A lot of stuff is distractions. A lot of stuff is in the way. The whole Trump impeachment situation. I mean, all of this is like really showing you need to pay attention to what's going on. If you saw the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all seen that and picked up on what I seen. Notice how almost every single commercial had Chinese people in it. If you notice that, then you have that vision now. You can see, you understand, you get it. Almost every single Super Bowl commercial had Asian people in it. You can go back and look for yourself. They had a lot of commercials that actually took shots at the Chinese. If you peeped it, you peeped it. If not, you didn't see it. But this is a straight up sign. It was very patriotic. They had a lot of patriotic commercials. They had a lot of commercials where they make sure they included Chinese people, so Asian people. So pay attention, because we could be on the brink of war with China. We could be headed to some type of issue with trade, or major issue with trade, and who knows. So I peeped so many different people talking about that as well on Twitter about Super Bowl commercials in China, and we got to really be on point about what's happening with the economy in China. So definitely a lot more videos on that. We'll get into that whole thing. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. But a lot of people are not realizing that we basically argue about the same stuff every year, involving different people, it seems like. So it's usually a controversy that pops up every year, and we talk about it and nothing gets done about it. And then next year it's the same thing, but with a different person. And we're seeing this a lot. So we have seen so many times with, celebrities bashing celebrities, or, we've seen a lot of black celebrities basically doing stuff that goes against us, or that is basically making the black community look bad. And a lot of people was talking about, Gayle King and the whole thing with Kobe. I heard doing an interview with Lisa Leslie and mentioning Kobe's whole rape case and everything like that. And, a lot of people flipped out on her about that whole situation. But, more than that, we were seeing, I don't know if you guys been hearing, you had a lot of black women taking to Twitter and putting out a lot of information on Facebook about Kobe, as far as, him not dating, marrying a black woman, or doing anything for black people. And this sparked a big debate. I don't know if y'all been hearing about it, but a lot of people talking about the whole thing. And, it's one of those things where, like, this dude ain't been dead 2 weeks yet. And there's so much controversy around Kobe Bryant and his death and his life and what's been happening. And, we always use a situation like this to bring in black issues, to bring in stuff that black people face. So, of course, even when a person is alive, like you see a black celebrity with a white woman, or a black celebrity with a white man, and we bring that whole issue up of race and dating outside of race. It's the same stuff, every year, but with a different person. And this is no different. But we got to look at so many things and understand the hard truth that we don't want to really realize is we don't really have anything as a people for, a black celebrity to, bring to the black community that's going to really uplift the black community on his own. It's going to take collaboration. It's going to take a lot of people coming together to make something like this happen. And it's going to take a big effort on the part of the community to keep it there. So my point is, why would you bring something beautiful to the ghetto or to the hood that is going to get destroyed? Why bring something beautiful to, no offense, a bunch of savages, a bunch of people that's lost, a bunch of people who don't even know who they are, a bunch of people that basically sell you out for the white man's Jesus. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't come back to the hood or even really, try to do anything major there, because there is so much opposition you're going to run into from your own people. Case in point, you had the young black woman in Baltimore who had her, beauty supply store, hair store, whatever, that was killed. She was killed by her own people. Having a store, this young woman, black woman, who managed to do something so great and big at that age, to have somebody, kill her and just end it all. This is one of the things we got to look to, and it's what we need to start to realize about ourselves. That's the problem, and one of the reasons why you can't really expect people to come back and bring something to the black community. Now, you also need to understand this. Of course, black celebrities are doing stuff for the black community. Of course, black celebrities give back to the black community. Of course, Kobe gave to the black community on a few occasions. And it's a difference between coming into the black community, giving out toys, or, giving out furniture, or helping pay somebody rent, or putting kids through college, and so on and so forth. That stuff we see a lot. We see black people do that all the time. We see black people build homes for people and so on and so forth. But that's something that's going to be individualized for those specific people that's lucky enough to get, those accommodations. But it's not nothing that's going to largely change the black community. And as I said, that takes a collective effort on the part of a lot of people to have happen. So when people say, Kobe did nothing for black people, or Jordan did nothing for black people, or all these celebrities did nothing for black people, when you go back and really look, yeah, that's a lot of stuff they did as far as those minor things, which I don't really consider minor, putting somebody through college and so on and so forth. Yeah, a lot of black celebrities do that. They do it all the time. We see it all the time. But is there a way for them to completely change the community? It is. Is it a way for them to really do something major that's going to help the community as a whole? Of course it is. But then you got to understand the obstacles that are in their way to keep that from happening. And namely, it's us. It's just that simple. And it's us not having the mindset to allow something like this to happen, or to give somebody with that kind of status and wealth the, let's say, the reassurance or the comfortability of doing something like that. It's like, okay, I'm not going to give a bunch of money to people who I believe going to fuck it up. It's just that simple. I'm not going to put something beautiful in this place, where people have, way bigger issues that need to be corrected before we even start to rebuild something in this place. So we're talking about drug issues, we're talking about mental health issues, we're talking about a lot of issues that people have before you can even begin to bring something beautiful into the black community. So I don't think people really understand what they mean when they say doing something for black people. I mean, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Obama didn't do anything for black people. People still level Obama to death. He was the one that was in a position to really do something for the black community, but he chose not to, for many reasons. But when you say a celebrity didn't do anything for the black community, when you say a person is not doing this or not doing that, I don't think people really understand what that entails and how difficult something like that would be on a large scale. But first, we got to look at the problem. We got to understand, one, we keep talking about how the white man is oppressing us, how we can't get ahead, how it's a problem. And as I always say, we don't want to admit what's causing that. So as I said before, I talk about this all the time. You got to understand the traps that's in our way, what has happened to us. And if you're going to enslave people and then free them and then build a huge economy of wealth and success off of their, deaths and labor and so on and so forth, and you're trying to stay in power, well, you have to make sure that they can never rival you in power. And this is what we are not realizing. We're not realizing, one, yeah, we're the problem. We have an issue. But we're not admitting the issues, the things that's in our way to keep us exactly where we at. We've been in this same spot for decades, centuries, for a long time, just subservient to them. And it's like, okay, we have stages of progression, but we're still in the same spot when you really think about it. And that spot is us basically being under their control. So what would they possibly do to keep us where we are? And number one is controlling our education, controlling our unity, making sure that we don't unite, making sure that they can control what we learn, and making sure that what we learn benefits them and not us, or benefits them more than it benefits us. And this is what we're seeing. So the first thing they took control of course, you had desegregation, and you had us being able to integrate in these white schools so they can control the school system. Now, a lot of people, don't ask the question, why didn't we just have, better schools in the black community back in the 60s instead of integrating? This was the control. Now, remember, this is when they basically said the government's taking control of the school system. We're going to have people going to certain schools by, zip code and so on and so forth. And then you had white people just up and move. If they was living close to black folks, they was moving out of their zip code to where it was predominantly white, so their kids didn't have to go to school with black kids. So this is around that time when that really started happening during desegregation, when you had this large shift of people moving far away from the black communities, so they can not, have to deal with that. So that happened, and that was by design, of course. But they didn't, make sure the black schools was as adequate as the white schools, or that, we were getting the same education. So now you have this, separation, and you have the white schools and you have the black schools. You have them being taught a totally different curriculum than us, a curriculum for them that's going to assure that they are our bosses, and a curriculum for us that's going to ensure that we are the workers. So when you're going to school, especially in the black community, you're going to school to learn how to work for them. It's just that simple. And as we all know, school, you go there, you're learning, it's memory, you commit things to memory, and you're not really learning what you're going to need to be, where they are, to be the boss. You're not really learning what you're going to really need to be the executive or the owner or the person that's in a position to employ people, or to really use your status or your situation to grow something for your people. So we don't have that. They do. They make sure that, their kids are learning the best, that they have, the best meals at school, that they have the best teachers. Everything is going to be good for those kids in that district. Whereas our schools, we're not getting that same type of information or that same type of help. So they enslaved us, indoctrinated us with Christianity to give us the feeling of remorse, forgiveness. They didn't free us until they made sure that we took religion with us in our hearts. When they felt comfortable enough that we wouldn't basically slaughter them in their sleep, that we wouldn't congregate and come together and basically take over everything. When they felt comfortable enough to let us go, where they, didn't have to sleep with one eye open, they really could believe that, we were so gone and lost with, the Holy Spirit of Jesus and forgiveness and everything like that, that they can sleep safely and soundly. And they did that. And they let us free, and we was free. And they used us to basically build their economy. And once their economy was built, white people were too smart to basically do what they wanted us to do. And this was the issue. So as I talked about before with Reagan, when he came out, before right around the time of desegregation, when he was talking about the economy was doing bad. Why was the economy doing bad? Because there was no racism for, white people. White people wasn't racist against white people. So what was happening? White people was seeing how everybody was coming up. They was looking at the scam of this government system and these businesses and saying, I want to do the same thing. I'm not going to sit and work for these people so they can get rich off my labor. I'm going to open a business. And then when you have all these white people opening businesses and you have all this competition that they created amongst themselves, there is nobody to make money from if everybody wants to be a boss. Everybody wants to be on top. They can see the scam. So they needed us. And this is why integration happened and desegregation happened, because as I said, they needed that money to bring in their community so they can grow their wealth. And that's exactly what they did. Now, we were just, dumb enough and just happy and shucking and jiving that they wanted to, shit in the same toilet as us and eat next to us, that we didn't see what was going on. We didn't realize the economic trap that was, placed in front of us, and we didn't realize what they were actually doing. And then now we flooding in our money to their economy, and it's destroying our own. So you had the mob. When Italians came over, you had the growth of the mafia in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they got it. They understood the whole situation, that all this shit is a scam. And, the mob was taken. They was gone, and they was, busting up those rackets and stealing and doing everything they could to take what they needed to grow, their families and so on and so forth, until they realized that, it's not even worth the war. We have made so much money. We have made so much progress that we can basically become civilized. We can basically, become legit and control shit and make money and grow. And that's exactly what they did, Vegas is a testament to that. LA is a testament to that. And these people basically, coming together, forming a commission and becoming legit and using that money to put themselves in positions of power where they are today. We have not figured that out yet as Black people. So as I talked about in a previous video, how they basically use that to turn us against each other and against, basically our own progression when you really pay attention. So, I talked about before how you have rappers walking around wanna be gangsters, and we don't really realize where that comes from when you really think about it. It's like, okay, when we say gangster, where does gangster go back to? It go back to white mafia men. What Black person was calling himself gangster before the white mafia? What Black person was saying that he was gangster before the mob? What Black person was saying he was mob or MOB before white men did it in America? What Black person was doing drive-bys before the mob was doing drive-bys? What Black people, was forming gangs and killing people and robbing and doing all the stuff we doing before the mafia was doing here in America? It was them. And we looked at them and seen, the freedom that they was having as far as going against the system, and they was having, success at it. But that's because they was white. And we basically took, as I said, everything bad about white folks and put it into hip hop. And that's our culture today. So as I said, all you got to do is listen to the music, listen to the lyrics. I'm a boss. I'm a gangster. All that comes from mafia talk, mafia bosses, mafia family stuff. So we're basically living in a culture that's stolen from criminal white people. Just that simple. And this is the culture that we live in. That's saying that we gangsters and we thugs and we bosses and we sell drugs and we do everything that these people was doing. People forget that the mob was one of the first to be involved in selling drugs in America. Remember, a lot of the mafia wars were over drugs and the selling of it. So they brought us in so they can get into the black communities and spread this stuff. It was part of the CIA's plan to basically put, crack cocaine in the black community. But, this was later, of course. The mafia was pushing coke around this time and heroin too as well. And they were the hugest drug dealers way before us. They were the biggest gangsters way before us. And we have been doing nothing since then but copying them. We have been copying, gangster, criminal white people, and we made a culture out of it called hip hop culture. We all live it. And we all jumping around thinking that these white people don't see exactly what happened and what we're doing. It's phony. So you have, one of the reasons why they didn't like us back in the 60s, if you have a people that's trying to dress like you, make their hair like you, sound like you, and act like you, how are you going to feel about that? You're going to call them phony. You're not going to want to be next to that person. You're going to be like, get the fuck away from me. And this is what we was doing in the 60s. Slicking our hair back, getting perms, dressing like them, trying to sound like them, trying to fit in.